It's up to you, bro.
Ooh. Can you go all night? No, I'm just kidding. Um, okay, so what's up, everybody? I am here with, well, I'll let you introduce yourself.
Danny Nissan. I work at a Nissan dealership for the past 8 years. That's what I do. I sell cars.
Okay, okay. And then so like how did you well, I mean it's probably pretty obvious, but like how did you find your way on like social media and stuff? Like what kind of really compelled you to start doing that?
So I started social media a while back, but started focus on it here recently, probably the last 5 months. And I've been hearing people on Facebook, hey, social media, be on TikTok, this and that. So that's how I started getting onto TikTok. Just recently posting more on TikTok and stuff like that, getting more, um, I'd say being less lazy and starting to focus more on posting. I've been seeing results on Facebook with customers reaching out wanting to buy cars and things like that. But TikTok, I'm still trying to find the algorithm, and I'm just meeting new people like you, every day.
Yeah, I mean like and let's be honest, TikTok is kind of like a wild place, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like you could go from just like sitting there just, scrolling, doom scrolling, and then next thing you know, you just got like somebody staring at you saying the wildest stuff, and you're like, hey, yo, I'm glad there's a screen in front of us, or else, I'd feel a little bit more uncomfortable than I do.
no, for sure. And it looks like this is episode 406 for you, so you're actually doing pretty good, right?
Nah, I took a hiatus. So I really stopped at like episode 30, but I brought it up to the 400s because I honestly experienced so much life since like some of those episodes, like we're talking about like a long time ago. And so I was like, listen, if I was keeping tabs of everything, it probably would have been in the 400s. So I just continued from there. And then my first episode back, I kind of talk about like stuff.
Right. No, that's good. That's good. Obviously, you do podcasts and I do podcasting, so I get it.
Yeah, and like I don't necessarily know what exactly yours is about, but if you were ever interested on having me as a guest, I'd be open to it. Most definitely.
No, for sure. Right now, we it's crazy how this whole thing started, right? So, give you a little bit backstory. I've seen other people do a podcast that's in the car business, and I said, you know what, that'd be kind of cool, but I want to target different kind of people in the car business, right? For example, the other people they do like famous, like more followers, people like that. For me, I want to reach out to people that I don't care if you're the receptionist, detailer, mechanic. If you work in the car business, I want to interview. I want to know your story, why you're in the car business, and things like that. So I do want to branch out to more once, people in the bank and sometimes change the algorithm of like yourself, you know what I'm saying, and get you on there as well because people want to hear not just all about the car business but just people in general.
Definitely. And you know what's crazy is like it's very easy to overlook those things or all of the people who just work there because like you're like, oh, like you're getting paid to do this. But the reality of it is that there's a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes that you might not appreciate because you're a consumer. So it's
No,
cool that you point certain things out that aren't so obvious.
right, right. So yeah, it's crazy right now. Like I said, we're booked all the way up to January. We're starting to do 2 days a week now. We started with Tuesdays, and I said we're just gonna do it like every other Tuesday, right? It's not gonna hit off, but people are actually messaging us. People are starting to know who we are and what we do, and now we're doing it Tuesdays and Wednesdays, and we're booked all the way Tuesday to Wednesday, all the way through to January. So it's going pretty good.
Yeah, man. And every time I've been in one of your lives, dude, like I can see the community. And like it's so funny because like sometimes you get people who barely get into this stuff and they're like me, right? Like I have a couple people who come back and stuff, but it wasn't always like that. Sometimes it was just me all alive. And with you, you had people who were like very much a part of this thing and you guys care and believe in what you guys do. So I'm like, hell yeah, bro. Like that's what's up.
And the thing too is like I try to avoid car talk, right? Because you got other creators that do trainings every day, and they talk about cars, they talk how to get better and stuff like that. Sometimes you just want to like not talk about cars, right? if the topic comes up, obviously we'll talk about cars, but we just like to have fun, catch up, see what people are doing, things like that, and just have fun, and meet new people. That's how I met you, right? is 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 going on a live and just meeting people and stuff like that. So that's my main goal, is just to have fun, meet new people. Like I said, if the car topic comes up, we'll talk about it for a little bit, but then we just steer to like bullshit.
Yeah, with you and me, I think it was definitely like mutuals that brought us together. Because I am my way, right? Especially on my life, right? And a lot of the people in my personal life know this about me. Uh but I think like I people who aren't used to knowing me, I can definitely, it's very easy to be taken aback. And it's so funny because I just grew up like that, like with me being me my whole life. So I'm not even phased by it anymore. But it's so cool because like then you just run into people and then you're like, "Oh, you podcast? Oh, I podcast. Oh, yeah, we should. Yeah, yeah, let's go." And it just becomes a thing.
No, for sure. And the thing too is like how we met. It's funny because it started with signing with Taylor, and her name's Taylor. She sent me a live to Jose's, and I'm like, who's this guy? And then I started bonding with him, and then Manda started showing up on the lives, and then she started doing her lives, and that's how I met you. It's kind of like a chain, right? That's the nice thing about it, is like you start meeting people from other people, and then that's how you get the connections, right? So I probably started 5 months ago with 2,000, and now I'm at 4,700 followers, and it's connections that I grew from knowing other people and hopping into my live and following me and things like that. So no, it's definitely nice.
And I think it's a beautiful thing, right? Because it's networking and the power that comes with networking is like so valuable sometimes. But even if you're just like not trying to talk car stuff, right? And you just want to have a good time, bro, it's so cool to have some people who are actually chill with you and like they just come around because they want to, not because, they have to. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I always follow this. What Texas car guy said. His name's Anthony. He's a GM out of Texas. You want to be known before you need it, right? You might not need a car right now, but it's like, hey, I know a guy that can sell me a Nissan, for example, right? And then that's how people are gonna start, knowing me before they need me, is what he always says.
Wow, yeah. You know what? Even when because I just recently got a car and I got a Nissan, believe it or not. And the person who I had go with me, one of my closest friends, and it's funny because he was always that guy to me. And I was like, dude, like I need a car. Like, I know you know about this stuff. I don't know anything about this stuff. Can you help me out? He's like, yeah, and he walked me through the whole thing, and I was like, hell yeah. But you're very much right because everything that he would like that thought popped in my head where I was like, yo, he is the guy to me. I'm gonna reach out to him.
Yep, and that's why I always follow that, right, of what he said. Be known before you're needed, right? So then that way, like, oh hey, I went to this guy's live, and I know he sells this, and if he can't help me, I know he has connections in the car business and things like that. So and that's the nice thing about um, TikTok and Facebook, all that is just connections, right? And the thing is, like, I was a little bit shy at first, because you're always going to be shy the first time, right? And then you're like, oh shoot, no one's watching. But here's the thing: don't always worry about the number that's on the top of who's watching in the little corner. Just keep doing what you're doing. Just be you.
And speaking of being you, my next point was literally gonna be like, it can also like being on like social media and stuff can literally show people your personality, like that you have a personality, that you're not just like cutting blank and you're just like, I'm gonna sell you a car. Well, it wouldn't be like that. It's like, let me sell you a car. Like what the stigmas that people think, but like, nah, bro, like I've been seeing you making those funny videos and I'm like, that's hilarious. Like this is what the consumer wants to see.
Yeah, and that's the thing too, is like the people that see your TikToks will kind of know what you do and how you are, because what you see on TikTok is how I am in person. I am a chill guy. I'm not a pressure person at all. If you're gonna go home and think about it, then you can go home and think about it, right? Yeah. I don't like to pressure people. I like to treat others how you want to be treated, right? So I just put myself in their shoes, how, like, don't pressure them or stuff like that, because then at that point you just make them mad, right? So that's why, I get customers that I've talked to them like a month ago, and they're like, okay, now I'm ready. Thanks for not bugging me every single day. And I'm like, hey, that's how I am.
And I dig that. You know what? And I also feel that, fuck, I blanked. Do you remember what I was gonna say? No, I'm just kidding. Um, fuck, man. Like, yes, everything you just said, yes.
And the other thing too is like people act differently from outside of social media, right? They're trying to put in the happy face, trying to be like, this and this. And then you meet him in person, it's like, oh no, this guy is like rude and stuff like that. I don't want that, right? You can see the Google reviews of the dealership that I work at, and things like that. So all the stuff that I do, I can back it up, right? You can go on my Facebook, Danny Nissan as well. You can see all the customers that I sell to. And if they don't want a picture, I'm not going to force them to take a picture with their car, right? But it's nice because that way we can tag them on the post, and then their family members will see that and they're like, hey, you bought the car from there, I want to go talk to him as well. How was he, how did he treat you? And then they start talking, and then so this last month, seriously, 8 to 10 of the car deals that I did last month were just from Facebook itself and referrals.
Shoot, man. Dang, bro. Oh, and I'm sorry to derail the conversation really fast, but I just remember what I was gonna say right now, and I'm the opposite of you. I don't wish for my people to see my TikTok ever because I'm like, like I have to be so professional. Like I'm in restoration, so I have to give people that presence. Hey, yeah, I'm meeting you in a time of a tragedy. You need to know that you're in good hands. So if I like come around and like fuck around on TikTok and then they're like, bro, who's this guy building my house, right? Like, it doesn't always go so well for me.
Well,
And
here,
so like, go ahead.
so here's the thing about that, right? There's a place for everything, right? So you can make funny videos, but you don't want to push it too far, right? For example, never judge a book by its cover. There's customers that come into a dealership that are dressed with holes in their pants and things like that, and then they end up paying cash, right? Because you're like, hey, who's this guy? Like, he's coming to buy a $70,000 car, like, he's riding a bicycle. Like, come on, like, but that's the thing, dude. Is like, you just be yourself, you know, and if people want to do business with you, they're gonna do business with you, right? There's gonna be some, even if you act really professional, there's gonna be some that are just not gonna like you in general, right? But that's the thing is like, you, I don't want to change who I am to please someone else either. You know, I want to be me. I don't want no one to change me. And if people want to deal with me, cool. If they don't, cool as well. No hard feelings.
Yeah, and you know what? I agree very much with what you said. I think the only caveat for me is that I am willing to change if it's for my better, right? If it's for growth, then yeah, I will change who I am if it's for growth. If it's because I want to like people please and stuff like that, like I've already had that past, been down that road, it's not for me. So like moving forward, I'm just trying to shake off all the dust from me. But like, I do recognize when I am, kind of like presenting those traits, but I also know how to stand my guard, or not my guard, stand my ground. And that's important. But also like if I feel like something is good for me, then I'm more willing to be like, you know what? You're right. Like maybe I should think about this a little bit more deeply. Maybe I should be a little bit more professional or something because it is for my own betterment, and I'm on my own team. I'm like the main player on my own team. I can't be working against me, Like that doesn't make sense.
Right. And then there's some instances where I'm like, if I have an idea of a video or stuff like that, I do send my videos to my GM. He doesn't have TikTok, but I do send it to him. And then if I see him laughing, then I'm good, right? Because there are some videos that I don't think that are going to be harmful, but you gotta keep in mind, right? I'm pretty much presenting a dealership, right? So we don't want to say, well, this guy is doing this, I don't want to do business, right? So I get your point of view, right? We definitely want to be careful what we post on social media because that stays on there, right? Even if you delete it, people already seen it and they're gonna be like, oh, dude, this guy, you know what I'm saying? So I get your point of view. And like you said, if it's for the better to improve yourself, then yes, take the advice, right? Well, but there was this one comment that was on the video. It was like, hey, take this down. This is not a good image or blah blah blah. But I'm like, people are liking it, right? Customers are liking it. It's like we we don't have to be serious all the time. We gotta joke around sometimes. We don't just joke around too much where it's like offensive to people. You know. but just have fun with it,
Yeah,
you know?
take it too far. And mind you, like from the consumer's standpoint, that shit makes me want to go buy from them. Not gonna lie, because it's relatable content. It's the type of stuff that like when I see it, I'm like, that guy's fucking cool. Like I go kick it with him. You know what I mean?
And I do have customers that I actually became good friends with. His family owns a restaurant, Mexican restaurant, and I've sold him like 3 cars. And he just comes down on his break sometimes, just chills and hangs out. He's like, "Hey, can I go have some?" I'm like, "Yeah, dude, go have some. Let's chat for a little bit." And he sits there during his break, and we just chill. And that's the thing too is like, I'm not there just to sell your car, which is my main job, right? But I'm there also to make relationships because he has referred customers to me, right? His own employees have come and bought for me because he sends them down, you know?
Yeah, and it's because of that connection. You know, like I don't sleep on relationships. Even in my professional life, right? Like with some of my clients, I will literally tell them, "Hey, I'm a real life person in your life right now. Like, even after this job, if you need something, hell, even if you don't do business with our company and you're like, hey, Richie, is this guy ripping me off? Like, you have access to me now. Don't forget about that, right?" And then that kind of it always does a shifting in their head. I haven't been able to analyze it very much, but it's just like it's like, huh, yeah, I guess that's true, and it just brings them back to the reality of it. Like, this is a relationship still. Unless you did me dirty and gave me like a negative 10 stars, then cute. No, I'm just playing. I'm kidding.
No, and that's the thing too is like right now, for example, you got to prioritize things, right? So like right now, there's like a live going on right now, but I was already committed with you, right? And I don't want to be like, hey, like I'm gonna go join this live and ditch you. That's not how I roll, right? And I don't care how famous you are. If I commit to something and I promise you I'll be there, I'll be there. You know what I'm saying? Even if the president of the United States shows up, you know what I'm saying? I mean, like once I'm done, and if the president's still there, then I'll go greet him. If not, you got to do your priorities. Because that's the good thing about building relationships, right? It's like, hey, man, this guy joined my live, and I know he has a busy schedule. Because there are some people that will cancel, right? And I know it'll probably happen with me. I understand if it's like family related or things like that, but there will be some guests that will be like, "Hey, you know what, I can't do it because I'm gonna go do this now, last minute," right? So that's the thing is building relationships.
Yeah, most totes. Because like I said this to somebody the other day, and it didn't really have an impact until I said it out loud, and I was like, oh wow. But I was like, yo, I freaking still talk to people from like when I was 19 at one of those jobs, right? I still talk to them and I'm still cool with them. And I was just like, oh shit, like, damn, I am still cool. Like, I'm 32 now, you know? So, like, it's been a whole decade and I still believe in those relationships. Even though they're not as you go from seeing somebody every day to like now you kind of only see them on social media stuff. I mean, it's just not the same, but it still kind of is because I'll still send them memes, you know, like I'll still send them funny shit and they'll send them back to me. And it's like, it's all love still.
Right. Yeah, and it's kind of more like high school, right? So I wasn't a very popular kid, but I used to hang out with some popular football players, blah 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 blah, right? Just be yourself and people are gonna like you. And I see those people now in real life, and it's like, are you just not gonna talk to me? Like, are you still not gonna say hi? Like, you'll still have those people, right? But you still try to at least say hi and things like that. And if they start conversation, continue it. If not, then move on. You can't change everybody in this world. But one
Yeah.
kindness at a time. We'll do that one kindness at a time.
Yeah, I guess look how I am when I see people who don't acknowledge me, or like if they don't recognize me, then I won't act. Hey, what's up, bro? You don't remember me? Like I won't go out of my way to do that. But if I'm like, hey, what's up? Hey, yo, what up, boy? Like, and they acknowledge me, then the love's there. I'm like, yo, what up? But I'm not gonna also go all the way over there. Like, now I got my own stuff going on. Like, it just might not make sense in that moment. But there's no shade, right? It's like, hey, yo, I see you, boy. Yeah, yeah, I'll catch you later.
Right. Right.
But like I also like I wouldn't say like I was popular because like I went to a continuation school, right? So it's like it wasn't really a big school at all. And when I used to make friends there, like most of them were kind of like in and out of juvie, or like they were in gangs, and like they had a lot of stuff going on. But even then, I'm what up, boy? Like, like it's all good, and they all love me. They all receive me, so that's what kind of gave me this like feeling where like, you know what, like I really don't even care as far as like where I am socially. Like these people treat me right. They treat me cool. So like I'm gonna show love back.
So let me ask you this question to you because you've been asking me questions. What made you start doing podcasting? What came up the idea? Was it just one day be like, you know what, I'm gonna start doing podcasting, or was it something that you were planning and then started doing?
So it's two things. So the first one was a quote by Nipsey Hussle where he said, "People think you're in competition with other people, but in reality, you're in competition with yourself and the person who you were the day before." That really resonated with me. And the second thing is, I don't know how to rest. I don't know how to stop. And so I was feeling like burnt out from the music making and like, trying to like perform, in front of people and stuff. And I was like, tired. It's burning me out. It's draining me. And then, like, I said a prayer to God, and I feel like God was telling me to like rest, and I was just like, I'm gonna start a podcast, and then I just started a podcast. Like, so it wasn't like anything like spectacular or nothing, but yeah.
Let me ask you this: do you do this like once a week, or do you do it like once a month? Like, how often do you do podcasting?
I've noticed that it's best to put it on a schedule, but for me, it's a little bit more spontaneous. But now I am kind of leaning towards that whole like monitoring the schedule and trying to keep it consistent. For one, because it's healthy for me, and also for two, people actually. I'm sorry, I think I lost you there. But like, it's healthy for me, but like also people like they're affected if you don't produce. Like I've had people tell me like, yeah, bro, like I used to watch your podcast, and I was like, what? You used to watch my podcast? Like what? Like, yeah, bro, you'd post them, I'd watch 'em. I was like, oh, like, and they were like, why'd you stop doing that? And then I kind of had to, whereas before I didn't really even think anybody was watching.
So where were we at?
Why I started doing the podcast came from Nipsey Hussle, and then me not knowing how to take a rest. So I just kind of, did it. And then like also the timetable or the oh no, you asked me about the scheduling. It's not something I always did. It's something that I started incorporating as of like, recently, and it's very healthy for me. Because for one, it keeps me like on the right track. And for two, by you just kind of disappearing out of people's life, like you're establishing trust when people are like seeing you and stuff, and they start to get familiar with you, like, and then they start to look forward. Like the second you just disappear on them, you go MIA, like you kind of like you strain that trust a little bit.
Right. So let me ask you this: how did you meet Manda and Brosi? Right, because that's how this whole started. Right, me meeting Taylor. Taylor, I met with Jose. Jose with Manda. Like, how did you meet them?
In between jobs. So I accepted a position for my current position at my current job. I don't know, I said the same thing twice. And then like I had, basically put in my leave, so I was literally like off for 3 days plus the weekend. And then they're like, "Hey, the guy is not going to be here next week. We're going to put you on for next week." So I literally was having an anxiety attack because like I said, I don't really do well when it comes to like just resting. And I was like, "F it, I'm just gonna jump on social media," because that was at one point something that brought me peace and calm, and I enjoyed it. So then I started going live, and then Brosi and Amanda like literally popped up same day, and then we just all connected, we all clicked, and then they just kept showing up, and then I like started looking forward to them coming back. And then, next thing you know, you got involved. And it was kind of crazy because like, you know what I mean? Like it looked like she was beefing with you in the chat. And I was like, who is this person? But it's all good, right? Like I'm live already. So I can't unlive, this segment. Like it's fucking, here we are. And then like little by little, we started to get more familiar, you and I. And then I would just join your chat. Like I would just go in there and see what you guys are talking about. Like I'd be driving or something, just listening and stuff. I don't know anything about what you guys are talking about, but I'll listen, right? Like I'll shut up and listen.
And that's the thing too, is like that's why I created I have four group chats, right? One is we call it the family talk, which we chat about cars if we need help, blah blah blah, right? And then there's two other ones where every time I go live that are in the car business, right? And other people share their own lives on there as well. But there's another chat that I created which is called Danny's Live Non-Sales, which I've been seeing is if I created one with people that were in the sales part and other salespeople started sharing, they would kind of get mad, right? Because it's like, no, I'm not here to support these guys, right? Because they just want to see me. Because like I said, I don't talk about cars all the time, right?
They're
So
like, you
that's
don't see the label?
yeah, so that's why I started a different one where it's just non-sales people on the other. That way they don't get bombarded by car questions by another salesman, going in there and sharing a live. Because it gets kind of crazy, right? With a lot of people going live and doing all the shares and stuff like that, and it just your phone just goes bing, ding, 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 right? So that's why I created another one. So it's nice. Because I think I added you onto that one on there, and Manda's in that one as well. Need to add Broski on there, but yeah, it's crazy. And I just can't wait to see what's next. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's the exciting part about all this stuff is you really don't know what the fruits of your labor are going to look like 10 years from now, but it's fun in the moment. And I know that's what I chase because like ADHD, so like I enjoy the feeling that I get from things, and that's what drives me, right? Like you said, like I don't do this for the money, right? It's interesting, don't get me wrong. Like who wouldn't want to be able to do something that brings them like, happiness or some sort of like thrill for money? If it's a good thing. I have to for the people watching if it's a good thing. But like I do it because like what I said, like I get a joy out of it and I don't know where this is going to take me. I don't know where this is going to take you, but I know that we continue to do this and then, hopefully we land somewhere nice.
And that's the thing. Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
What makes you different from all the other people that do podcasting?
Shoot, I don't think there's any difference about me. Maybe then just like who I am personality wise and my own experiences. And I don't feel like that makes me better or like lesser than anybody. I just feels like maybe I bring a certain unique characteristic to the conversation, and sometimes difference dope.
And I think that's where I see me and you being the same, because we're not doing this to become rich or to become famous or whatever it is, right? We see it as us talking to other people, right? Because that's what we like to do, right? And that's the thing, is like I want to know people's stories, right? And I told the other two other co-hosts that do the podcasting with me, I said, if it ever gets to my head, let me know, because I don't want to be like that. I want to be humble, right? I want to be the humble guy where it's like, hey, you got 5 followers, I don't care. Let's get you on. You know what I'm saying? You got 300,000 followers, 20,000 followers, cool. You want to get on? I'll get you on. I don't want to be like, getting it to my head and be like, I don't got time for you, because I'm not that person, and I never want to be that person. And I told the other two, I said, if I ever do become that person, let me know, because sometimes you don't know how you act until someone tells you, like, hey, you were kind of mean, or you were kind of this or kind of that. And that's where you start changing the good things, right? So it can become better, right? Take criticism. Um, and there's going to be some good and some bad. If it's bad, obviously just let it go from one ear to the other. But if it's good, take it, right? Don't just be like, yeah, whatever, whatever. No, like take it, because you gotta keep in mind, right? You're reaching out to these people, and 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 they're doing it for a reason, right? Because they know who you are, and you're humble and things like that. So that's how me and you, I see like we kind of do the same thing. Obviously I do it a little different in the car side, right? And you do it a little different on that side. But I see how we both do it, and I can't see what it'll bring for both of us in the future.
Yeah. Like one of my love languages I'm learning is showing love, and I don't care if I know a little bit more than somebody about anything. If somebody asks me or if they feel like they want to learn and I know something, I'll be like, hey, yo, bro, this is what's up. Like, you know? And so, like, I'm very much like that when it comes to like people who they're new to social media or they're thinking about doing podcasting or they're thinking about doing anything that I might do at any point in my life. Like, that's just who I am. So it's just crazy because, like, on here, you got so many different minds racing to try to be, you know, like try to do something, right? And not all of them carry the same voice. There's all these different places of TikTok, right? And I just think it's such a beautiful thing. So it's like I know I probably am not always received right, like, but you know, people tolerate me and then they give me a chance and then they figure me out. So who would I be to kind of like look at somebody who's trying to do their thing and just be able to, and then just be like, nah, psh, you ain't on my level, bro. Psh, nah, like I'm like, hey, bro, like we could talk about something, right? Like I've chit chatted with total strangers about nothing for hours and feel like I had like the dopest experience, you know?
Right. And there's this other guy, and that guy, he's not doing podcasting or TikTok yet. He's on Facebook, and I forgot where he's from. I don't want to say because I don't want to mess it up. The coolest dude ever, right? And he talks to the guy that's walking down the street walking his dog, and he has a blown full conversation with this guy like they know each other. You know what I'm saying? And that's pretty cool, right? He's like, we talk every once in a while. And he's like, hey, help me do this and help me do that. And I'm like, yeah, dude, I can help you. And I said, you know, I told him what I'm doing. And he's like, hey, that's pretty cool. I want to do that. But maybe start doing my Facebook part, let that grow a little bit. And I said, for me, I'm going to go all in. I'm like, I'm going to go on all platforms. I'm going to, you know, and he's like, I'm going to do Facebook a little bit, but it's cool because he's interviewed doctors. He's interviewed, I mean, it's crazy how many, and I'm going to send you the link so you can see it. And I see you doing what he's doing now. Like, like I said, the coolest thing ever, dude. And it kind of gives me the chills because like, he says, yeah, I saw this guy walking his dog and I just wanted to have a conversation and he was down and they just had a full blown conversation on Facebook, you know?
Yeah, I know people like that, and I think it's like it's fascinating. It's fascinating to see because you're like, how do you do that? So if you're saying like I'm any form like that, thank you. Like I am very much honored. You know, thank you.
Well, I'm the guy walking the dog, right? You're like, hey, let's have a chat
Hell
on
yeah,
podcast.
brother. What kind of dog you got? Let's go.
I got two Shih Tzus
Oh, okay. I've always been more partial to like the bigger dogs, but like the little dogs are cool because like they'll cuddle up with you on the couch and they won't squish you. You know what I mean?
and their poops are like this.
Oh yeah. The big ones are like
Yeah.
fucking. You gotta like now you're hitting arm day.
Yeah. So no, I'm thrilled that you asked me. I'm excited. You know, I just want now that I know you do this because I didn't know you even did this until we just talked about it like 2 days ago, right? So I'm definitely gonna be following you on socials and helping you out as much as I can, sharing out to my friends and things like that. And now, you know, obviously I invited you up to my lives as well. And that's something, you know, like for example, Taylor, she just started her own journey of doing like kind of like sales training in a way. And she just released a book. And that's what we talk about too, is not just about car sales,
No
right?
shit.
About releasing books, about you know what people are doing in their lives and things like that. We just met a person. Her name was Mo. I think you were on that live. She just starts her new job on Monday, selling cars. So we're there to tell our stories, right? That's the main thing that I try to focus on my lives is to know more about people than just train all the time because we do that every single day. And I'm not gonna lie, sometimes it gets a little bit boring and I just want to know about the people itself themselves, you know.
Bro, I dig that. And I don't know if this can relate at all, but I literally have a saying that I say to one of my boys. Cause like, you know, like I've gone through some stuff and then like I'll come back and be like, hey bro, like this is what I went through. But he didn't go through that. So when he finally goes through that, you know, it's a little confusing. And I'm like, oh wait, don't worry. It's like that, and I'll start pointing stuff out for him. Well, anyways, there's this thing that I used to say to him, or that I still say to him, where you know, he's talking about like all these different attributes and accolades and stuff that could potentially come with like a new job or like a relationship or whatever. And I'm like, Papa, none of that stuff makes you or breaks you. That shit only adds to you, right? Like all of that stuff is experience and you're gonna absorb it and it's not gonna make you or break you. All that stuff is just gonna combine with what you are, who you are, and then just, just make you more dope. You know what I mean?
Right. Right.
I completely forgot why I mentioned that, but
And that's the nice thing about podcasting, right? You don't have to worry like when you go on a live, people are leaving all the comments on there, so you get sidetracked because you're trying to read the comments and then you forget what you're trying to say. Right here, we just talk about ourselves and things like that, you know. So that's
yeah,
what I
I
like about it.
I think it was more like me just kind of like, in my own way, adding on to your whole like, sometimes you guys don't want to talk about the car stuff. You guys don't want to talk about the trainings. It's not who you are as a person. That stuff doesn't make you or break you. It only adds to you guys. But sometimes you don't want to talk about that stuff. Sometimes you gotta want to just talk about like, hey bro, you see that ride? Shit sick. Like, you see that movie? Bro, that thing made me cry. Like, you know what I mean? Like the real life stuff that makes people people.
No, for sure. And that's the thing too, is like there's this guy, his name was Peter McKay. And I every time I see him, I'm like, hey dude, I want to go see you because the new Spider-Man movie came out, right? So I was like, hey, Spider-Man's in the live, you know. And I just like to bullshit. I just like to bullshit.
Yeah, bro. Like I'm very much for talking shop because I will nerd out about shit that I'm really interested in. But if I'm not interested in something, you could not force me. And I will like if I'm not talking shop with someone, I will literally just chit chat, chop it up. Like we could talk about anything, and I don't care. If I got like an opinion on it, or if it's something that I've experienced, then I might have a little bit more to say. But for the most part, like like I'm not trying to do anything bad with it. So it's like usually people receive me very well, and we're able to just talk about whatever, like, and just instantly become best friends. It's funny because like I'm in LA, man. So like a lot of people out here aren't like that. It's very much hostile. It's very aggressive, and so like if you're viewed as different, sometimes it could be viewed as a bad thing. And it's like if you're not with me, you're against me. Obvi, right? No, like that's not how I get down at all. You know?
Right. And that's the thing too. Like on one night on one of the lives, they said, "What should we talk about next?" And we start talking about conspiracy theories, right? And two of the sales guys, they start getting tin foils and they started making a hat. And it was the best time ever, dude. Like they're like, "Hey, is
Wait,
the
they
Earth
literally
flat?"
did that on the live?
Yeah, you should.
Whoa!
I just posted the pictures. If you look on it, I just posted it today about the people that I've met, and there's the two guys. They have
They
aluminum
got the
foil
hats.
and made hats. Yeah, so that's dude. You never know what's gonna happen on a live, right? When it's like
Facts.
there's people that are like serious. Let's stick to the topic and let's stick to talking about cars. Let's stick about training. And I'm like, hey, you come to my live, we don't know what we're gonna talk about. You don't know.
Yeah, and that's how life goes. Like you could be at a party at like a baby shower or whatever, talking about like anything. And then you like go home and you just talk about regular stuff. You go to work and then you talk about work stuff. Like, but life is just pew 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 pew. So it's like it makes sense that on like social media that would kind of be like the only real life aspect of it, and it just be such a funny thing.
No, for sure. And the other thing too is like people want to know you of of how you are, who you are, right? They don't want to see yeah, they want to see the serious part of you, but they also want to see the funny side of you. You know, how you treat customers or how you act in general. Keep in mind, I have said some dumb things before and they're like, "Hey," and it's like, "Hey, I'm going to fix that," right? But that's how I am, you know. There's gonna be people that are not gonna like me. There's people that are gonna like me, you know. But you can't change the world all at once. But you can eventually. But you can't change everybody, right? Of how you are towards them or how you make them feel. If that makes sense.
Yeah, if you want to change the world, you got to change yourself, Biggie Smalls. No, I'm just kidding.
No, that's
um
true. That's true.
Yeah, also look, there's a saying that my buddy and his family used to say that I always like I just adopted it. I don't even know if they know I took it from them, but I stole that shit. But anyways, they used to say it's all love. It's all love. To me, when I started like analyzing it, I was like, I love that concept, right? Because you can say that about anything really is like, you're doing something good for someone. They're like, I don't know how to say, hey, yo, it's all love. Like, it's all good, Like, it's
No,
cool here.
and that's the thing too. Is like I wake up in the morning, the wife wakes up, and then I gotta take my baby to my mom's house. It's the same routine every single day, right? You go to work, you come home, and then you're just like, you know what? I want to do something different today. You know, the wife is going back to school. She's finishing her degree, and I'm over here having fun with podcasting and TikTok and just creating silly videos, right? For
That
me,
sucks.
I was never a smart kid, right? I'm glad I even passed high school because I was not good at studying for one and tests. Reading was my worst nightmare when I was going to English class because we would read a book and it was always down the line, right? It's like, oh, now you're next, you're next, and I'm just like, I'm pre-reading my lines so I make sure I don't mess up. That was me. I was that kid. And like, okay, so he's next on that paragraph, he's next that paragraph, then it's me, then it's this is my paragraph, and I started reading that before it was my turn. I was never smart, right at school. I did go to college. I think I only need like 3 or 4 classes left to get my associate's degree in criminal justice. As a kid, I always wanted to become a detective or a police officer. Right, my main goal was to become detective. Obviously, police officer and the detective, but obviously that didn't come true. For many things, obviously smart and being a fluffy guy, like Gabriel Iglesias says, there's 6 levels of fatness. I think I'm category 4 or 5. so, so yeah.
Well, damn, bro. I mean, you don't kind of give that vibe off at all. But it reminds me of this thing that I heard where it's like some of the more successful people in life, you would think are like, A and B students, right? But no, they're like the kids who got C's and D's, right? Where like school isn't the ultimate metric on how successful you're going to be or the type of person you're going to be. So I heard of this and I was like, oh shit, that's crazy, because like in school I didn't really take it seriously, so I got like whatever grades and I didn't care about it. But like people would be like, yo, you're freaking smart, and I'm like, cool, appreciate, but like ultimately I feel like I'm smart when it comes to things that I'm interested in. That's just me, that's how I learn, and that's how I am. Like, it's fine. But in school, they very much care about the curriculum, very much at how much you can stick to the point and blah 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 blah. Like yesterday, I was doing my application for a university because I went back to college, so I'm currently working on my degree. I'm becoming a construction manager, right? Pain in the ass, bro, because I just spent like 3 years in community college. Now I got to spend another 2 at university. Pain in my ass. But I had to like kind of like upload some transcripts from my community college thing, and that shit took me down memory lane because it shows from all the times where I like come and I get like a bad grade, and then like I can visibly see the differences in the years in my attitude, because like when I first started like D C B, right, and then like more recent years it's like A B C, right, like I started locking in more. I started paying attention more. But that wasn't because like I was smarter or dumber. It was just because I started locking in more. And that wasn't even anything in me. That was just more like where I was at in life. So some things don't become like more serious to you until later on in life because, circumstances change.
Yeah, and like the saying always says, D's get degrees, right? So as long as you got a D, you're passing, which I don't know how that's possible, but D's got the degrees. So,
I have a couple homegirls who are like trying to get into like nursing and like medical field, and they would probably have an asthma attack if you said that to them, because like to them it's like A's or B's, A's or B's. Like anything less than that is like you can get anxiety just from standing next to them. You know what I mean?
and this is what I was saying.
Like, oh fuck.
I was saying if you're getting A's and B's, you should be getting A pluses, right? Because you just have a little fun with it, right? Obviously, they're gonna start getting mad, but be like, hey, if you're getting A's and B's, why aren't you getting A pluses? And then they're gonna be like, I'd be like, I'm just kidding, just kidding, just kidding.
Fuck with them, yeah. And what's funny is like I don't like, even when I'm locking in, I don't like school that much. I like the people. I'll fuck around with the teachers, like they're cool sometimes. And some of the material you learn might be interesting. but I never really thought like school's what's gonna make me blah blah blah. I was always like, I like the concept of school because it teaches you how to learn and how to deep dive into research. So that way you can kind of like figure something out, get to the bottom of something, or compile data in an organized fashion. Whereas like the world can be very disorganized, outside
Right.
of fucking school and stuff. But like those are the things that I appreciated about school. But like reaching for the stars and going A plus, blah blah blah. I was like, hey, maybe I'm just not that committed. Like maybe I just don't see the vision like y'all. But I don't like school like that.
Right. No, that makes sense. Like I said, I was never a smart kid in school. Um, I still sweat when I get tests. Like we get tests from corporate to learn about cars and stuff like that. I'm all down. I'll watch the videos because obviously I got to learn about it and stuff like that. I like because obviously I learn the new technology that's coming out on the cars and things like that. But when they put tests at the end, I'm like, gosh dang it.
You're like,
Yeah, yeah,
bro.
that's where I like get stuck.
Yeah, because some of those tests are dumb, right? Like they'll be like the move like the videos about this stuff, and then they'll ask you like such minute details. You're like, I gotta watch the video again. Like, what the
Yeah,
what?
and I'm not gonna lie, I have retaken the test about 2 3 times because you have to get a perfect score. So it's like you get the few right, and then you just get that one that you miss, and then you got to do the whole test all over again. And it's just like and it's
Uh,
not the same questions. They always change it up. So it's like, oh
yeah, and you know what's funny? Because like my mentality is very much like I produce. I don't want to be doing this stupid test, right? Like if you put me out there, I make you money. That's how this works. You pay me. Don't make me come in here and freaking fidget around for 3 hours trying to get 100% on this test that really isn't sometimes even applicable. Let's be honest. But that's just where it's at. Like, put me in there, I'm gonna shine. You make me stay inside this test, or like stay inside and freaking try to figure out this freaking test. I'm gonna look dumb. You're gonna see me. You're gonna see a whole nother side of Richie, and you're gonna be like, yikes. Some people, man.
and that's the thing too is like you know you want to learn the product, right? But it's always better to do hands on, right? I'm a hands on person. Like I like to, you know, touch this, mess with buttons and things like that. But when I'm just watching it, it's like I'm not going to memorize it unless I do it.
Yeah, for real. It's like, bro, stop talking at me. Like, fucking, a person will talk to you, but like a video is like, bah, 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 bah. You're just like, I'm literally dying right now. Like, I can feel myself losing life points, like right now.
No, for sure, for sure. But no, that's all the questions I had for you. I kind of flipped it around to you, but because obviously I do this as well, so it's nice to know a little bit about you.
Yeah, bro. So now I want to know about all the advancements in cars. Like, I know you talk about car and stuff and all day, but like I want to know all the dope shit. Like what's actually interesting to you about some of the newest like developments in the car industry? And then let's nerd out a little bit. I'm down if you're down.
Well, here's the thing. I'm not a big car guru. Like I'm not like into the Mopar cars or like Corvettes. Yeah, they're cool and all that stuff, but I just don't. I'm just there to sell them. You know what I'm saying? Like I drove a Chevy today. I was trying to put it in drive and it wouldn't let me and I'm like, why would it not let me? Right. So I turned it off, turned it back on. I put it in drive and it still wouldn't let me. Well, I should have thought about it. It won't let you put it in drive if you don't have your seatbelt on. That's the thing that's like, we're getting to that part, right? Fords back in the day, because I don't know if they still do it now, but back in the day, if you didn't put on your seatbelt, it'd turn off your stereo. You couldn't
That's some
listen to music.
bullshit.
That's on Ford. Chevy, I just noticed today, if you don't have your seatbelt on, it will not let you put that sucker in drive, reverse, or nothing.
Bro, I'm fighting you, Chevy. I'm fighting you. What you mean?
And with Nissan, they have some technology. So all brands are good brands, right? So I get customers that are like, "Hey, what's your favorite brand?" That's not Nissan. I said, "You know what?" I said, "I like all brands, right?" And I'm going to tell you why. So if you do your maintenance on them correctly, And if you do it every time you go get your oil change and they recommend you do something, they're gonna last you a long time, right? There's bad reputations about Nissan CVTs, right? Which they did have some issues back in the day, back in like 13, but they fixed those issues, right? But people still have a bad taste of them. I don't know if you've been on my live where they're saying, "Oh, Mr. CVT, Mr. Lemon Law, this and that," right? But I just ignore it, right? Sometimes I play around with them and be like, "Hey, you know what? All of them are going to have their issues if you don't do their maintenance correctly, right?" But that's the thing with me. Customers come, they say, "Hey, which brand do you recommend?" I said, "I recommend all of them, honestly. It just depends on comfort. Like, what are you looking for? Comfort, gas economy, like a tow. Like, you tell me what you're looking for, and then I'll narrow it down to some options that have on the lot, right? Um, because I and not a lot of people know this, but if you actually go to YouTube and you type in Nissan Frontier in Chicago, Manda, shout out. There was a Frontier that hit 1 million miles
On the odometer?
on the odometer.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
Damn. That's I mean, as far as machinery goes, that's bragworthy.
yeah. And not a lot of people know that, right? So, because I was searching, right, and I see this Frontier 1 million miles, and they did a whole documentary about it. They were filming him until he hit the 1 million mile on the odometer, and I'm like, wow. And he said, yeah, the only thing I changed was like the timing chain or something else. But he said he did all his maintenance and everything on time, did everything, took care of it, and it lasted him a long time.
Yo, shout out that guy's mechanic, man. That guy fucking he does his thing.
Yeah. So like I said, I don't bash on other brands, because here's the thing. It's like you bashing on another person, right? You don't want to talk bad about someone else. And obviously, I don't want them to talk bad about me. If they talk bad about me, then that's on them, right? But I don't like to bash on other people. And then obviously, now that you know me, you'll probably start going to my lives more, and you'll see that, right? People start talking bad about Ford or Chevy or whatever it is. I like to just,
Which
you
has always been the thing among like, social circles.
right. So, and like I said, I just like to avoid that because people have opinions, and people's opinions can say, "Well, I don't like this guy now because he's talking bad about this," right? But yeah, that's me. Like I said, stay humble, and I just don't bash on other people's brands, you know.
Yeah, I dig that. And you know what? Because it can create an unsafe space. But just to kind of lighten it up a bit, I did was talking to one of my coworkers today, and he's a Chevy guy. Like I even asked him, I was like, if you want construction, what would you do? He's like, I'll probably be a mechanic at Chevy. Like I was like, all right, bet that's fair enough. But he was like talking to me about something on a truck, and I was like, bro, if I could afford all this shit, I would have it, and I'd be such a poser because I wouldn't know what anything's called, but I got it. Right? Like I'd be like, yeah, I got the fucking doohickey on the thing. Yeah, yeah. I fucking jump out of my fucking truck and like hit the ground and break my knees and stuff. And I'm like, oh yeah, that's me. And they're like, what year and model? I'm like, I don't fucking know. Like, read the badge. Like, I don't care.
We just call it La Mamalona. That's all we're gonna
La
call it.
mamalona, cuh. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
La
my
mamalona.
oh
But
shit.
so like I guess what I was more saying as far as like the advancements and stuff, but like I think you kind of already clarified that like, that's kind of like not your deal. Like that's not really your thing. But like I will nerd out about tech in construction if you let me. Like if you show me a funny video of some guy, he's just like casually explaining some shit and it's like a tool that you can use. Like I'm not even a carpenter, bro, but fucking take my money right now. Like I don't need the tool. I want the tool because it looks cool and I could build a house with it. You know what I mean?
Right. So I'm a little bit different in the sense of I'm more of a computer, kind of like my setup at home. I don't know if you saw my setup on a live before where I showed them. I
Oh
got
yeah.
I got three monitors. One's 49 inches. The other one's like I don't know even know how much
Fucking tech porn. Let's
that
get it.
yeah. So I just have a lot of stuff. Like I'm like you, right? If I see something techie, I want to buy it, right? So like for example, like I'll show you right now. And I don't even use all this stuff. I'm just gonna show you right now. Like I got the DJI 360 camera, I got the GoPro 9, I got the DJI Pocket 2. I got the
What does that thing
GoPro
do?
Mini, right? This one has its own screen, right? So when you turn it on, this will track you while you're recording, right? So it's a gimbal camera, right? And, so there's that. I got the DJI mics. I mean, I got uh, at work. I have the DJI Mini Pro drone.
Yeah, boy, you
You
got
know,
all the toys.
so I got all that stuff, and like I got this to draw on my computer. You know, I'm more into the techie part
Wait, wait,
of.
wait, wait, wait. You mean that if you connect that thing to your computer, you can draw on the pad and your computer will read it?
Yeah, so you can do like notes, like let's say me and you are doing something right now and you have like a whiteboard. I can draw, I can do all kinds of stuff um on there. So
I think this girl in front of me in one of my classes has something like that, and I thought this shit was like the dopest shit to ever hit like the streets. But she was like, "Oh, it's just my iPad," and I was like, "How dare you diminish this? This is groundbreaking technology." I
yeah.
used to have to write shit, and that sucked.
So yeah, that's what I'm mainly into is techie stuff. You know, I got the Cricut right there, you know, so I can do some vinyl work there. I use it? No. I got a laminator, I got all that stuff, right? Um but that's where I come back to is if I ever need it, I got it, you know.
Yes, I want to get me a drone. I want to get one of those drones that will follow you. It's like sort of like the camera you have. But I just think it'd be so cool because I still very much do music. I don't portray myself as a rapper or anything like that, but I consider myself an artist. And that means that I have the creativity and the freedom to create whatever the fuck I want. And I will consider it art, right? So if that's music, so be it. But I want to be able to use said drone to do these music videos because I discovered that those are freaking awesome, bro. Like, I don't know if you've ever just like, compiled anything like for the hell of it, just for fun, but like music videos are so fun to make, but they're just so time consuming, especially if you don't have the right tech for it. But like with you, that shouldn't be a problem. But
Yeah,
also cameras, that part right there makes you feel limited, you know? Good.
and that's the thing too is like if you go to Brower Brothers Nissan on YouTube, those videos that are on there, which I've been slacking on that because I've been focusing more on my personal um stuff than the dealership part. But there's some videos that I've done with my drone where I follow the truck, right, and things like that. And I've done one of a restaurant, my buddy's restaurant, right, when he did his grand opening and things like that. So the drone is amazing. I would recommend it for creators and people like that. It is very time consuming when it comes to the editing part. You can have 20 minutes of video, but only use like 2 minutes of it. You know what I'm saying? Because it's that time consuming. You want to make sure everything's perfect and everything is lined up and things like that. That's the reason why I got some of these other cameras was so I can get drone footage while the other cameras inside the car have some cameras on the outside of the car, so it captures every angle of the drive, right? And that's the thing too is like a lot of people go to school to learn this stuff, right? And like you said, if you like something, you're gonna learn it, right? And that's where I'm at that stage right now, where I like it. There was this customer showed up yesterday. He's big into the Nissan Z, the Xterra, the off road stuff, and all that stuff, right? So we're getting a new Nissan Z coming up, Nismo, and I just told him, I said, hey, I said, can I call you once this car shows up? And he's like, yeah, I'm not going to buy it. I said, no, that's totally fine. I don't want you to buy it if you don't want to. The reason I want you to come down and drive it is because I want you to do a video for me, and I want you to review this because he's like he knows everything about cars, right? He's the one guy that's like you show him a car, he's going to tell you everything about it, he's going to geek out, right? And I'm not that person, but people want to see that in videos, right? So that I got his number and things like, hey, let me know when that car comes down. Yeah, I'll be happy to do a video with you on that. And I'm like, oh, hey, that's pretty cool. There was this one time that I actually wanted to do a video with a Z at the airport, right, where a airplane starts landing and then the Z kind of beats there or during takeoff and things like that. Obviously, that got declined. I can't. I don't have access to do that. But hey, with AI, you can do anything, which I need to start learning how to do that as well. You know.
With AI, anything is possible.
Yes.
That's dope, bro. And I like that you were able to like kind of like involve something that he loves into something that you're discovering that you love, and kind of like mix them both, because like that's fucking sick, right? Like now you have content, and now you also have somebody who gets to review the cars, and it's a sick car, you know what I mean? Like, and he doesn't even have to buy the car first, right? Like
Yeah.
he has the freedom to come and go, and if he decides to come back, then you know everybody wins.
Yeah. Like I said, for me, I'm not a purchase salesperson. If you like the car, you're gonna sell yourself, right? You're gonna be like, you know what, I want this car, right? But if you're gonna say you're gonna go think about things like that, that means, for one, I probably didn't do my job right because I didn't discover exactly what you were looking for. And the other thing is, like, you didn't like the car, right? So that's why you want to go home and think about it, right? So that's where I'm just like, I don't like to be pushy, and then we start texting and be like, okay, like, what do you didn't like about the car? And then I steer them into something else, and they're like, you know what, this is the car I like, you know. So that's how that goes there. So
Now, I don't know if you can generalize this or not. I don't even know if it would probably be improper to, but I'd like to ask the question anyways. Where it's like, what do you feel like people are generally looking for as far as that goes? Like, if they walk up to you, like, what key details do you find that customers are looking for as far as like what they need out of you, the salesperson? Like you already have a lot full of cars, but they walk up to you. What do you think it is that they're looking in you that'll help them just make the decision?
I think what they look into me is to make sure that I'm confident of the product that I'm selling, right? So if I'm not confident of the product that I'm selling, then they're gonna be like, "What am I buying? Like, this guy doesn't even know what he's talking about, right?" Which, I'm not gonna lie, I don't know a lot of things about cars, right? I don't know a lot of things like Kia, right? You can ask me about Nissan. Obviously, I'm certified. I can talk about Nissan. But when it comes to a used brand, there's a lot of things that I don't know about, right? So I'm like, hey, Mr. Customer, honestly, I don't know, but I can find that answer for you. It's
Let's
better to
fucking
be
Google it right now. Let's
Yeah, it's better to be honest with the customer than you just trying to spit some information out of thin air, right? Because then at that point, if it's not true, guess what's gonna happen? This guy lied to me. This guy doesn't even know what he's talking about. So trying to avoid that, right? Always be honest with the customer. And I'm not, no, hey, Mr. Customer, I don't know what the answer is, but I'll find that for you, right? And that's what customers like, is honesty, right? That's the key word, honesty, and it'll go a long ways.
yes, absolutely. And I honesty for sure. Confidence. Yep. Also, I guess just kind of I don't know. Like I used to sell cell phones, and it's hardly comparable to your industry, like at all, right? Because we're talking about hundreds of dollars. You guys are talking about tens of thousands of dollars. So there is quite a gap in the valuation of those two products. But sales is still sales sometimes. And walking up to people and just being like, for one, like transparent, like how you said, is spot on. And then also being confident in your product, also very another important thing. But also just being like a cool person, trustworthy. Like they feel like they can have a conversation with you, and you're not going to be like, actually, another thing I like about this car is the blah, blah, blah. Like you're not going to just like turn into like a total salesman on them. Like people will come up to you and be like, yeah, you know what? Like, I'm thinking about doing da, 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 da. Like, oh yeah, I got you, bro. Like, what are you thinking? I wouldn't go with that. I go something like this. Like you said that your daughter has this, that, whatever. Like, I got you over here. Like, this is what you need. It might not be what you were thinking about it, but like, here, let me give you some information. And if you like that, and then like, even if they don't come back that day, they'll come back and they'll be like, I'm gonna take it. Give me 5. My wife saw it. She's interested now. My son too. Like the whole family. All right, bet, cool. I got you guys. You know what I mean? You guys want a case? Like whatever. Boom. Let's get it.
And that's
That's upselling. That's upselling.
right. I was in the phone business for 2 years. The phone company was called Union Wireless. You don't know what that is because this is this is Buffalo roaming, right?
Uh-uh.
Um, So yeah, Union Wireless, you can have service anywhere, out at the lake, out at the mountain, stuff like that. Which with Verizon you cannot, right? So I'd get, and it's a local owned business. It was actually probably like an hour and a half, nah, probably like 45 minutes for me is where the main office is at here in Wyoming. Um, but when I worked for them, I'll tell you something though, customer service. Customer service was huge. Every single person that worked for them knew how to answer the phones because you wouldn't get no automated system like dial one for this, dial two for this, whatever it was. You called that phone company, you would get a live person all the time, every single time. And that's the nice thing about it. Working for that phone company is they treated you like family, right? And that's what customers like to be treated is like a family. And here's the thing too is like I got customers seriously on my phone. I, they text me like, "Hey, how was it going? How was your weekend?" And I'm like, "Hey, it's great. Like, thanks for thinking about me, right?" And then I do the same thing, and I'm like, "Hey, how was your birthday? How's your anniversary? How's Charlie doing in soccer? Things like that, and customers remember that, and it's not just all about automated email sending out a happy birthday, things like that. Um, and so like a lot of them, I have them, I say, hey, can I add you on Facebook so I can tag you on the post, right? And it sends me reminders too, like, oh, they've had the car for 1 year, and I'm like, hey, how's the car treating you? Is your wife ready for a new ride and things like that? So it's a connection that you build with customers.
Yes, and I think that could also be added to the list we were talking about earlier is how you treat people. Like what they're looking for in a person is also very much like how are they going to be treated once they're there? What's their experience going to feel like when they walk up to you and you're like, "Sup, you want a car?" Or you're gonna be like, "Yo, okay." Or you don't say "yo," obviously, right?
Right.
You're like, "What's up?" Nah, you're like, "Hey, how's it going?" And then they start to be like, "Ah, this person's cool." Like, like they feel comfortable with you, and that's also important. I feel. I don't know. That's not important in this chat. Why I brought it up, but like, yeah, I had no rhyme or reason for saying that. I just want to
Well,
add to my mental list.
and it's all good, Richie. It's all good, dude. It's
Yeah,
all good,
brother,
ugly. It's all good, ugly.
it's all good. So I do gotta call it soon, right? But one thing I like to do on the podcast is because this entire show, like I said, is like you're not in competition with anybody else. You're in competition with the person who you were yesterday, and I feel like the vibe that brings to the community is a very powerful message. So I guess what I would like to leave with you, give you the space to talk about is just any recaps or any like special messages that you would ever want to give to anybody who sees this. Could be someone younger, it could be someone who's looking to get a car. Like is there any anything that you would like to say?
One, always treat others how you want to be treated. Be humble, like we said before. Um, and that's about it. Make friends where you can. Um, the world is big, and you will meet a lot of people that will like you, but you also will meet a lot of people that will not like you. But always try your best. No one's ever perfect. There was only one person that was ever perfect in this world, and and like I said, we'll never be perfect, but always try to be perfect, and always
Jesus
try.
Christ.
There you go. Always try to
I got you,
lift
bro. I got you.
people up, and that's all I got to say.
And that's real. As far as like me, what I like to say is like, just you might not recognize the person in front of you. And if you ever had an opportunity to treat someone kind, do it because you never really know at what role they're gonna have for you later on in life. And by my own experiences, sometimes the people you counted on the least come through for you the most in some occasions, while everybody else that you did depend on is kind of nowhere to be found in certain circles. You know what I mean? So that might not apply to everybody, but it still remains true, right? So just
Yep.
show love, man. Life's too short to be sitting here and just making people feel unwanted, man. It's all good. It's all love.
Well, thank you once again for inviting me to be on your podcast. I appreciate you.
Absolutely, Papa, man. I had a blast. Maybe next time we can I'll prepare like some stuff, man. Maybe we can get into like a little like talk, topics and stuff. We can figure some stuff out. I've been saying that with people, but I haven't really been doing it with people because I don't know, it's a whole thing. I just want to come on here, have fun, and if I do that, it kind of feels like homework to me, and I'm like, you know.
No, sounds good. I appreciate you.
All right, then, Papa, I'm gonna catch you later. Bye, everyone. I hope you guys enjoy the stream. Later. Oh, wait. Before you go, uh, throw out your social media handles, bro. Let them know where they can find you.
Yeah, so you can find me on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook as Danny Nissan. And then you can find the podcast as well on YouTube and Facebook, TikTok under the dealership download. So give us a follow.
There you go. Also, go ahead and send me that stuff offline, Papa, and I'm gonna post it up on this video. But other than that, love you guys. Later, everybody. Bye.
Bye bye.